I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Today, we're talking about transformational learning. This is the Valdymas Intelligence webinar series. It's a monthly series, and the goal is about transformation of our mind, transformation of our teams and our reality. Um, I've always analyzed the difference between change and transformation. And by change, I'm referring to marginal increases that you get daily, and that maybe 10 lifetimes might not be enough for people to leap from one level to another. But I see transformation as your capacity to live like multiple lifetimes in a single lifetime, where someone can move significantly the outcomes of their life, the quality and the standard of their living massively within a single lifetime. And that is the only remedy to the quality of world that we live in currently. Because if you want to just hold on and live a kind of marginal life, you probably have issues like the world order, inflationary measures, all these things to combat with. The price of everything in the world keeps changing, keeps increasing. That's a better word to put it. And if you look at that, if you're really not transforming the outcomes of your life, you would find out that whatever amount you're trying to get in would just be neutralized by all the inflationary corrections that government is trying to put in place. So what am I saying in essence? I'm saying you need to set out with your life to live and to leap continuously, to lead a transformational life. That is, your goal is to move significantly. You may have to stay at a 2 for a while and then leap from a 2 to a 20. It's better than moving from a 2 to a 3 to a 4, where it will take you a whole lifetime for you to move from a 2 to a 20. But if you can do things that are a bit that will put you through some discipline process, through some depth of pressure, and it will leap you from that level to a 20. From a 20, if you make up your mind again to push harder, you can do a 20 to a 200. That's like a 10 times your income, 10 times the quality of people you're relating with. So that means this can be done at a spiritual realm. It can be done at your intellectual realm. It can be done at an emotional realm. It can be done physically. You can say, I want to drop my weight from 100 kg down to maybe 72 kg. That will be some transformation in your health, right? You can say, I want to save an amount. I want to make sure within the next 2 years, I'm able to save $1 million. That will be some transformational move in your finances. So there could be financial transformation. There could be social transformation. You can move from a level of relationship in an area to another realm of relationship in another area by simply just attending conferences in that region and then making up your mind to make friends and network with those friends and stay connected. And with that, you would have leaped yourself from a level of social interaction to another. You can choose a mentor that is anywhere in the world. I can decide to choose a mentor in Amsterdam, and I follow the mentor diligently by getting all his books, seeing all his videos, and then reaching out to him and then beginning an interaction with him. That's also another transformative journey that seeks to take me to another realm of relationship. But one thing I want to establish, and I want to thank you for those who have consistently been joining over the month, and hopefully to keep seeing you month and month over. But one critical thing I want to establish before I start today is that every form of transformation begins with learning. Now, I need to be more, I want to be a more sincere person with you. Every form of deformation also starts with learning. So it now means that if you're going to be transformed or if the life of the other person is going to be deformed depends on what exactly you are learning, the quality of the knowledge or the information you're getting exposed to. Because all transformation begins with a learning. If you look at the great state of California, there was post-World War II, there was heavy investment in teaching, in schools, in development. And then that learning over the years evolved into what you have as Silicon Valley and every other thing you have around it. If you look at the great country China today, learning made the difference for them. If you look at Singapore, so If we analyze countries across the world that are becoming great, their literacy level is actually way beyond that of an average country. That's one. And then those learning and learning that are put into practical application, that is a form of profound learning. That's a form of transformational learning. So even in your own life, in our own life, in our own community, anytime you see the movement of a thing towards learning, then know that transformation is about to happen in that area. So if you log on to YouTube now and something keeps popping up, like maybe you're supposed to read about something and it keeps popping up, and you now apply your heart to it and you start consuming the information over time, what you will see is that some new realism will start manifesting in your life, because once you expose your mind to knowledge, enlightenment comes. And once there's enlightenment, there is a better vision. And once there's a better vision, what you hear starts changing about that circumstance. And once what you hear starts changing about that circumstance, your choices, your decisions, and your actions will actually be altered. And as those things start altering gradually, what you will notice is only a matter of time. You will start seeing you gravitating towards making decisions and actions involved in that area, and then you start generating results in a matter of time. So why am I emphasizing this? Learning is crucial to whoever you would become. Learning is critical, and that's why I say your learning ultimately determines your earning. And I need you to stay with me along this presentation. Transformational learning is really about evolving the capacity to create. It is very action oriented. This is Sengi in his book, The Fifth Discipline, the heart and practice of the learning organization. I need you to imagine transformation this way. You need to have the capacity to create a platform. I learned this from one of my mentors, to say that if you have a message, if you have a product, or you have a platform, if you have any of those three, you will be able to transform. You can transform the world. If you can have two of the three, it becomes better. If you can have the three, then you will definitely transform the world. If you have a message, so today I'm talking to you about transformation. You all know I'm passionate about transformational leadership. That's a message. So you too can also carve a niche for yourself and build a message around that niche with discipline, with strength, with focus, with consistency, and then groom yourself till you become way better. And with this, you have a message for the world. You have a message for your world. You have a message for people, especially a message that comes with compassion, that comes with the capacity to help people, to change their status. So if you have a message, if you have a product that you're selling, so you can say Apple as a product for the world, although they also have a message that backs up that product, but the products manifest who they are and what they do. And then you could create a platform. So you can liken all our church leaders to be platform creators. So maybe you can remember all your general overseers, those are platform creators. You can imagine someone like Dangote, those are platform creators. But both Dangote has both platform and he has a product, or he has set of products or series of products that he's selling. You have Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, he has a platform, and that's Meta, that's the whole Meta suite, where you have WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram. You have Elon Musk having a platform, having products like Tesla. So Amazon also has a platform, as product they sell. Now, what I want you to know is you need to ask yourself a question. If I am learning, and I know that learning has to be transformational, whatever I am learning must help me evolve the capacity to create any of these three things. It must either help you to create a message, it must help you to create a product that you'll be selling, or create a platform. Now, when you have a message, you discuss that message with the world. Nelson Mandela did, and he shared it with the world, and he got followers. So with message, you can actually get followers in this time and age. In the age of Mandela, maybe it was on TV that he had followers. But now in this generation, you would have a lot of followers on your social media account, right? If you have a solid message, if you fine-tune that message enough, if you build strength and knowledge, a lot of network in that area, you would build a very massive platform. that your message would continually be able to resonate with those people. That's one thing that you need to work upon if you are passionate about transformation. Number two is, do you have a product you're selling? Is it that you're along the chain of the product selling, or you have recreated the product in a way that you're now selling it? Your services could be a product, but one important thing is both service and product must be done with excellence. You must do it with excellence to the point that you are standing out among so many other products. So if you have a product or you decide to create platform, but either way, you have three things that can help your learning to become transformational, and your learning must be directed towards the capacity to create. Let me give us another example. If you meet someone, maybe like a school proprietor now, one thing you should understand about the person is the person has moved from being a general teacher who is just transmitting knowledge in the classroom to now become an administrator, someone who had created a platform for other teachers to come and test or hone their skills and then be able to grow and become better. So with that, transformational learning speaks more to the capacity to create platform. You can also be an entrepreneur in an organization where you create platform under you to get everyone that is working with you to be able to learn better, to be able to work better, to be able to achieve faster. And so if you're that kind of leader, then your learning is already leading to transformation. So don't forget this. The more you have the capacity to create a platform, a product or service now, or a message, then your learning is becoming transformational. Another side I want you to see transformational learning is that I've always talked about this four concepts. Learning leads to thinking, thinking leads to speaking, and speaking leads to scripting. I call it LTSS, so it's easier for us to remember. Let me try and scribble that down. I always love to talk about learning, and then I talk about thinking, then I talk about speaking, and then scripting, which means like writing. Yeah, so if you can own your skills in this four area, whatever you're learning, you must think about it. It must influence the way you analyze, the way you reason the world, the way you synthesize new ideas. Learning must impact on your thinking. I've said either you want to become transformed or you want to become deformed. It starts with a learning. But the quality of what you're learning will determine if you're on the pathway to transformation. And that is why what you need to learn must be guided by some principles, which I'll be talking about. I hope you would stay tuned. So that learning would influence your thinking, and then your thinking will now start influencing what you say, because the quality of your words determine where you're going to. Your words, the words that come out of your mouth carries strength, carries power, and they determine the quality of the world you create around you, and even the realities you would see. And that would influence how you write, because how you write means you have now understood the whole idea and you're trying to bring it on paper for the world to also see. So speaking and scripting is at the realm of transformation. So you have a different realm where people just want to work with their physical muscles. You have a realm where we move to another realm where people want to work with maybe a little of their physical muscle and a little bit of their thinking brain. But when you move to the realm of communication, where people have actually thought about things and they are now synthesizing the ideas out, and they're able to co-create or create a platform, a message, or a product, then they are moving to the realm of communication. And then ultimately, you have the realm of imagination. So these are like 4 steps. So you have the realm of imagination, because at the realm of imagination, what you do easily is creation. And that's the realm of gods. If you want to be a god, if you want to operate in the realm of a god, then you will create. And that's why we call God, the Almighty God, the creator of heaven and the earth. And that's the supreme or extreme of transformation. Imaginative level, where you can reason out things, imagine it in your mind, and then be able to butt it out with faith. And it takes a lot of transformational energy to operate at this realm of imagination. But that is the realm I want you to focus, to target, or to target. the realm of imagination. There is the next realm to it, which is just the realm of communication. At this realm, you are actually using your words or your writing. So you're speaking, you're directing people, or you're writing things. You're an author. You're speaking. You have like maybe a podcast. Like I'm teaching now. That's the realm of communication. But you can also move to the realm of imagination and create another world for yourself. You can be in the world of maybe just coordination. And then this lower realm is just the realm of activity. You don't want to stay too long in this realm of activity. You just want to learn from there and move to a higher level. So you need to keep developing your capacity to move from just the realm of activity to the realm of coordination, and then to the realm of communication, and ultimately to the realm of imagination. Now, let me help you. A lot of times we can zigzag between these four levels. But the more you stay in a level, the more transformed you are already becoming, or you have become. So the idea is that at some point in your life, you probably have to work on coordination, and then at some point you have to groom yourself. How do I move from coordination to communication? I have to get involved in learning, a kind of learning that will change my life. So, and I will start talking about those forms of learning as we progress. So I want you to understand the whole concept of transformational learning, and I brought down out these five key things, and which I would love you to, if you have a pen, please write them down. If you're typing, please type it somewhere and learn these five core things. The first one is the deep and fundamental shift in the way you a deep and fundamental shift in the way you understand the world. You need to understand how the world system works. You need to understand that the world system works on laws and principles. You need to understand that if you need to change an outcome, you need to work on your knowledge level. Knowledge level, work on your thinking capacity, work on the strength of your character, change the culture or the context where you're operating from. And then before you know it, your choices and decisions will start changing, and before you know it, you will alter the course of things, and then there will be a new result if you don't go and watch your source of learning. So let me give you an example. If you're given to maybe TV stations like African Magic, and you probably don't learn anything deeply and analytical in them, you're already subjecting yourself to a world of deformation, quote and unquote. And I said quote and unquote carefully, because I'm not demarketing African Magic. They are doing their best in the cultural, socio-cultural environment where they are. But I am saying if you need to leap to a higher level, then you will need to expose yourself to better learning. That is the idea. So you will need to change your horizon and change the quality of understanding that you will need to expose your mind to. So you need to open up yourself to greater thinking, greater reasoning level, greater capacity to analyze things. So a deep and a fundamental shift in your understanding of the world is crucial to transformational learning. So now you understand that before you become great in an area, you have to be an apprentice in that area. You have to learn the principles. You have to learn the rules. You need to imbibe the idea that every great and transformational idea cannot happen overnight. It takes time. So because you now know it takes time, then you will become rugged. You will become dogged, and you will stay there. Because the goal is not just about making the money. The goal is about that concept changing who you are. So I tell people that come to train for agile project management, I tell them that, look, the idea is not just about you training and getting a six-figure job. Because many of us, the goal is just for us to go to school and get a paper certificate. The idea is not about getting the certificate. The idea is about the quality of knowledge that your mind will be exposed to in the school, to actually alter your quality of person, to make you think better, to make you reason better, to make you see better, hear better. That is actually the goal of going to school. The goal, so certificate be damned if you don't have the paper, but you have the sound quality of knowledge and you're able to deliver results, your earning would skyrocket. It would change the quality of outcomes you would have. So just having the paper is just like a badge to show that, okay, you went through the school process. That is all. So the goal is understanding deeply how the world works. Number two is the capacity to challenge and revise existing assumptions and beliefs in you. A lot of us have a long standing of long held beliefs, And of course, our society, our culture sells those idealisms to us. And these are things we really need to sit back and challenge and ask ourselves, if I don't do this, what would actually happen? You need to question things. You need to question a lot of things in your culture, in your tradition. There are days at gone, you know, it's just normal for you in December to just play around, not want to focus on anything academic or anything developmental because you just think it's December. But there are years where my December had been given to a lot of transformative work, developing myself, doing things, solving problems that turned out to bring wealth for me the next year. Immediately I realized that, I understood that, oh, so it's just the traditional belief to just say a period of the year you just want to play around and waste the time. Because at every point in time, time is being wasted. So I had to challenge that assumption, that belief, and I had to break forth out of it. And so going forward, either it's Christmas or Easter or any period of the year, I'm able to leverage any quality time where I have some breaks to maximize the quality of result that I get. So you need to challenge a lot of things. You need to see public holidays as an opportunity to learn, as an opportunity to network, as an opportunity to meet people, to meet with mentors, to get something done. So you need to get so I need you to make me be able to share. So you need to challenge and revise existing assumptions and beliefs. The next thing is you need to develop critical thinking and problem solving skills. Of course, I've said this over and over today. The more you learn, the more the quality of the thoughts that comes to you will change. But you see, if you don't subject things to continuous brooding, you will not be able to achieve the finest of results. I'm this kind of person that if we have a discussion, I continue to think about things. And I want you to also build that kind of system. The fact that you analyze something with someone now and you both came to a conclusion does not mean that's the final decision. You must continuously reanalyze the pros and the cons of that decision. You must bounce it off new knowledge. You must bounce it off to see if it will be able to stand the test of time, the test of learning. And these are critical factors you need to pay attention to. Quality of time you spend analyzing, thinking. I read on LinkedIn yesterday, someone says, if I'm able to take a walk of like 30 minutes in a quiet environment, the quality of revelatory knowledge I get from the synthesis of the knowledge I've exposed my mind to is more refreshing than being on a Zoom call or Zoom meeting from 9 a.m. to 5 a.m. So you know the person already has Zoom fatigue, right? But this is the idea. The idea is that you need to spend time analyzing your life. You need to spend time thinking through scenarios. If you run into a problem today, don't rush out and start jumping around. Sit down first, think on paper, think through scenario. How did I get here? What are the quality of choices I made in the last 5 years, at least, that landed me to this point? And what are the quality of choices I can start making from this point onward that would navigate me out of this? You will need to analyze things out. That is foundational to transformational learning, because it's not just experience that determines the outcome of our life. It is actually experience that is being reflected upon. Continuously evaluated experiences is what changes the outcome of your life. It's not just about time, because people just believe with time things will just change. You know, I grew up in an environment that tells you things will become better. In fact, they have a song for it. It go better, and they keep singing it. But analytically, statistically, up to date, the nation or nations of the world, in some respect, keeps nosediving in the quality of outcomes or maybe per capita income that their citizenry is able to earn. The reason is because it is not just about declaring with the mouth alone. It's also it boils down to about thinking critically and building a problem-solving skill that would get you out of the problem. So nations need to sit down and go through some form of learning. If we need to change a nation, we will need to flood you with a lot of good information, positive information that would drive the mind of the people towards continuous inspiration, intellectual stimulation, and then that will help them to be able to build a system. So when you see leaders that are not focused on education, you know that those leaders are not ready to transform the nation. When you see an organizational leader who is not passionate about learning, who is not passionate about pushing you to become better, then that means you're not there to be transformed. You're only there to continue a life of change. Maybe there'll just be a gradual increment in payment. But when a leader is passionate about forcing you to learn, to move, to transform yourself, then that person is actually interested in building your critical capacity to think and to problem solve, to become better. Because ultimately, it will be about your choice. It will be about your own voice. It will be about you honing onto your life. And ultimately, it will be about you leveraging those choice, those ownership, those voice to solve a problem in your own authentic world situation. And so when it boils down to your own authentic world situation, then it speaks something to my mind. It speaks to me like you own the authority to make the choice. And because the authority to make the choice is given to you as human, then you cannot throw that control carelessly to anybody. And that means your goal is to build a critical thinking and problem solving skill. The next thing is you need to enhance your self-awareness and emotional intelligence. You cannot just continue to cry. You cannot cry at every little thing. You must understand that the world is not fair. Life is not fair. And you need to really get used to it. Two things may happen to two different people and the outcomes will be the same thing may happen to two different people and the outcomes will be completely different because we both have different forms of strength, support structure, learning, perspective, perception of the whole scenario. So because of that, you need to build your emotional strength to be strong. You cannot afford to cry and be crying about or creating a pity party. Your goal should be to be strong, to be brave, to be adventurous, to be daring, to build the capacity to analyze things in a positive way, irrespective of what has happened to you. You know, one of the stories of the person that eats me the most is Myron Golden. Myron Golden is an American business person. He's also a teacher. And one crucial thing that made me trip for the guy is he had polio at a young age. And he had to reframe the experience of having polio to be something that has been instrumental in the journey of his greatness. How many of us would have had such a setback early enough and will not just hold on to that all the days of our life as the reason why you cannot even succeed? So when you meet people like Myron Golden, when you meet several other people, or you hear the stories of people like Ellen Keller, and you hear stories of several other people, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. When you hear stories of that, and that's the longest serving that was the longest serving president of the United States, and you hear about the weaknesses in their lives, you would shut down all your excuses for not wanting to commit to transformational learning or transformational journey, as the case may be. So you cannot afford to allow your emotions rule you. The fact that you were given birth to in the back of town cannot stop you and must not stop you. So you must work on your emotions and then build up yourself from the level where you are and start going. Transformational learning will also rest on your capacity to lead a more integrated and adaptive perspective. You need to understand that you have one chance to this life, and you need to integrate all your efforts together to be able to build transformatively. You would see as we go, I said transformational learning is a disciplined process that leads to significant shift in the way you see the world. Your perspective must change. You achieve this by examining your existing beliefs and ideas critically, and then actively developing new ways of understanding yourself and your surroundings. This is the heart of the whole thing we're discussing today. And because I'm talking about learning, I feel it will be more beneficial for me to make you see some different types of learning. We have the active learning and passive learning. It's a bit close and similar to focused and diffuse learning, but there's some differences. You can explore to read more about those differences in your own personal learning time. Then we have the concept of structured learning and non-structured learning. And then we have the deep and complex learning with superficial and shallow learning. So let me just run through this in few minutes. Active learning requires your involvement. It's like a project-based learning. You're solving a problem and you're involved in the learning process. So there's a lot of observation, performing, assisting, and performing in the whole process of active learning. Passive learning is just for you to stay afloat and just be observing from afar. Both forms of learning have been found to be transformational, surprisingly. But one crucial thing is active learning involves all your senses, your emotions, and everything together, and is able to drive you quicker into transformative learning. Now, focused learning and diffuse learning is what makes it that is interesting to me. Focused learning speaks to your capacity to, okay, so I'm in class now, I'm just trying to listen to what this teacher is saying, and I'm focused on the whole idea, trying to consume the stuff. That is the point of conscious mind, where you are in the class and you're listening to the learning. You're in a program, in a seminar, and you're listening to the speaker talking. But the diffuse learning is that learning that comes when water is about to hit your head in the bathroom, where you're able to connect three things together, where you're already brooding on how to solve a problem and you're just taking a stroll in the park, and that idea just comes like a light flooding through your mind, and it just helps you connect that, okay, if I'm able to do this over 2-3 months, I can build my capacity from this level to this level, and with this I'll be able to leverage this. That is diffuse learning, and that is the quality of learning that we all love in the world of transformation. And that's why I say passive learners and diffuse learners occasionally, because those are the learning that comes when your energy level is low, when it looks like you're when they say be still. And that's the realm where people who meditate on things go to. You hear them after you read something, maybe like reading a scriptural verse, reading a knowledge dose, learning a new video. You now go and sit down gently in a corner of your room. Some people would advise that let the light quality be low, and then just have a pen and a paper with you, and then analyze things deeply. You may take like 30 minutes to get out of this natural to be able to break through into some world of meditative thinking. That is actually a transformative form of learning because it comes with a revelatory capacity. And if there's one thing I would advise you to give yourself into focused learning as much as possible, but don't leave or don't neglect diffuse form of learning. And that's why I appreciate people who are maybe less energetic compared to me. I seem to be more on the energy side. And for those who are less energetic, or maybe the melancholies, they are able to be calm enough to internalize what they've learned and be able to create some coherent philosophy, and which influences their actions and their decision. Now, we want to talk about structured learning and non-structured learning. I believe anyone who be listening to me would probably have gone to a school system. If you had gone to a school learning system, you have probably passed through a structured learning system where a curriculum had been created ahead of time before you joined, and then you're supposed to run yourself through the curriculum. However, non-structured learning is the learning we all get on the street. And that's the best form of learning, if you ask me, because I believe the street does not have a regulated kind of exposure. However, a structured learning is also a well thought through learning system, like an end-to-end tested form of learning. They know that if you're going to study this course to become this person, you probably need a little knowledge of mathematics, you need a little knowledge of language, you need a little knowledge of poetry, you need a little knowledge of history, you need a little knowledge of, and they help you integrate everything together in a structured format and assessing you both formatively and summatively. The problem with non-structured learning is that non-structured learning, you may ultimately not know anything about math because it's not a curriculum or an organized system. But because our world, we live in a real world where you can just wake up this morning and say, I'm going on YouTube, I want to learn advanced Excel. And then I want to learn it to any level. And then you practice and do all those things. That's not a structured form of learning. You are just going to sit down and start exploring the world of Excel yourself. And with that, it's only a matter of months. You'll become way better. That's a non-structured learning. Whereas a structured learning might say it will take you 2 years before you become an advanced learner. So those are the different pros and cons of different forms of learning. Now, if you ask me, I would love to talk about deep and complex learning and superficial and shallow learning. No one wants to say superficial. You don't want to be in that realm, because the delusion of staying superficial is that you would think you know. But the idea is you truly don't know, because you cannot connect deep stuff. Deep learning means that you're actually making a meaningful connection in the things you're learning. So I am in a physics class. They are teaching me banking. Banking is understanding how a vehicle that is traveling through a curve, especially a curve that is tilted, needs to regulate its speed so as to avoid it being skidding off the lane. Now I am learning that, and I'm imagining myself driving. And so on a day when I have the opportunity to drive, and I see myself on a banked track, I understand the connection between what I've been taught in class and the reason why I need to regulate my speed. That is connecting things. That is deep learning. But a lot of times we just want to learn and move past a knowledge dose. The idea should always be that you're exposing your mind to greater dose of knowledge that you can interconnect to your practical life. So if I go to a session now, let's say I'm being invited to an investment learning platform, and I sit down there, I should not leave that place without making decision on what I will alter in my investment life and what I will continue to do consistently thereafter. You know, they said the difference between a grandmaster is that a grandmaster knows the next 15 moves. An amateur probably knows 1 or 2 moves next. You don't want to be an amateur. You want to be a transformational learner. And because of that, your idea is anytime you learn and expose yourself to a knowledge and you brood over it, you think through it, you must come up with an idea that will make a meaningful connection in your life, that will give you like 4, 5, 7, 10 steps ahead of you what you would do. I'm surprised at myself at how this year I've already created an outcome for myself in 4, 5 years time. I already know the amount of some money I would have access to in 4, 5 years time. And I'm already planning it from this year, and I can stretch the mathematical simulation to 10 years to 15 years that way. But it comes with a lot of planning. It comes with a lot of brooding, thinking, learning, and those learning aren't superficial. So I want to make the spectrum between learning and results very easy for you to see. And I decided to create this because it's a bi-directional relationship. It's something that goes both to and fro. And so if you start from learning, it would improve your thinking. Your thinking would improve your perception. That's how you frame the world. And because it determines how you frame the world, it determines what you hear, it determines what you see, it determines what you respond to, and even how you respond. How you respond by choices, how you respond by the decisions you start making, the direction you want to take your life into. And then that will now influence the actions you take. The reason why some of us don't even take action at all is because there's no good amount of knowledge. We need to expose ourselves to transformative learning. You need to talk to people and learn from their experiences. You need to talk to people and have a critical reflection about those knowledge. Some of you need to schedule a meeting with a mentor. You need to just talk to them and say, please, can you explain this concept to me? I need 30 minutes of your time. I need to make this decision. Can you open me up? Let me understand better how to reason in this when I find myself at this junction. You cannot use the level of knowledge and thinking that got you into a trouble to easily get out of that trouble. You need a higher level of reasoning. And because of that, you need a newer frame by which you must view the world. We all live this world with a different framework. And that frame is very crucial because it determines the kind of focus we have, and it determines the kind of future we would ever be able to create. So please, how you frame your world is very, very important. It determines the quality of faith you would even have in yourself. So because of that, we need to frame appropriately. This is the story of Abel Motai and Ivan Fernandez, Spaniard and Kenyan. And I want to use this as a precursor to take the next slide, but I will really try to explain this. I think this is some 1,000-meter race, and Abel Motai was obviously way ahead of Ivan Fernandez. And one crucial thing that happened this year was that this Fernandez taught the world how to view value in a different way. Abel Muta thought he had actually got to the finish line because of the long distance race, he became a bit disoriented and he thought he had gone to the finish line. But when Fernandez came to his back, Fernandez decided to push him, to let him, he was actually screaming to him to let him know he should keep going. But probably because the guy didn't understand Spanish. So when he got to him, he pushed him and then supported him up until Abel Mutai became the winner of the race. And so the journalist insisted and asked Fernandez, why did you let the Kenyan win? He said, I didn't let him win. He was going to win. The race was easy. The journalist insisted again, but you could have overtaken him, of course, and had won because the guy was already disoriented in a way. But Fernandez said something that shook the world. He said, what would be the merit of my victory? What would be the honor in that medal? And you see, this is what brought tears out of my eyes every time I read this. He says, what would my mother think of that? How many of us had been imbibed with value system that is so strong that the glory we want to get, the result we want to get, we think through the process and we ask ourselves, what is the merit of this victory? That 10 naira or 10 rands or $10 that you make, what is the merit of that income? If you're working in an organization, are you giving in your best to the point that the money you're making has a merit? You had actually deserved that money. Because what would be the honor in a medal you get that you know yourself that it is not yours, that you don't even have the capacity to get it? Because a lot of time we live in a competitive world where people just want to cheat one another, get by, make a result, because you just want to show to the world that you have arrived. But the question you should ask is that, what will be the merit of that victory if you have to destroy another lady, if you have to destroy another person, if you have to smoke, if you have to drink, if you have to do something negative just for you to achieve that result? Transformational learning is an integrated form of learning which involves character, competence, compassion, courageous, and consistent nature. And it also boils down to clarity of your purpose in life. Because ultimately, we will all achieve some form of result or the other. But the question I need you to ask today is that, what will be the merit of this outcome that I'm generating? If I ever scale from one level to another, I need to ask myself, what did I trade off to be able to get this result? What did you trade off? If at any point you have had to trade off your values, your ethics, if I need to sell something and I have to compromise in terms of my virtue, in terms of my character to achieve that sales, then that sales does not have honor. That sales is not transformational. That sales will lead to deformation. It's only a matter of time. And so what I need us to start learning with this picture in our mind from today onward is that when we're given the opportunity to learn a skill, please go through the learning process without looking for a shortcut. Because what will be the honor? What will be the merit of that skill if you don't learn it properly? If you're to go through a school, go through it, study hard, do everything you need to do to learn, to become better. Hone up your talent and your skill. Be disciplined about it. Buy the tools that are necessary. Go after the knowledge that is needed. Build your competence based on character. The reason why the world is warped is because a lot of people thought, let me just go to school and become a professor of nuclear physics. It doesn't matter what my character is. It doesn't matter if I build a compassionate network. It doesn't matter if I'm adaptive or resilient, or it doesn't matter if I'm looking at an iterative and incremental form of development. So people focus on going to become competent. They have forgotten that by the time you become that nuclear physicist, you would have to work in a society. In that society, the society will test your character. The society will test your compassionate nature. The environment will test your courageous competence. And your environment will require if you're able to do all these things consistently. So the challenge we run into is that we just want to become the best ICT guy. But what you have failed to understand is that as an ICT person, you're working for a business system. In that business system, they want your yes to be your yes. That means you need to learn character. They want you to be a good person who has sound value system, who is ethical, who is ready for delayed gratification. If you don't build that solid character nature, you will fall out of position. And then you will be the best ICT guy, but you will not earn so much money because you are falling out of the sponsor, who is the business person. If you're the best ICT guy, but you don't have emotional intelligence to know how to relate with people, how to talk with people in an environment, you're not tactful enough to understand your environment. You don't know that building networks and community, becoming a servant leader, going above and beyond is what makes a lot of difference for people. If you don't know that, you can be the best aviation specialist, but you will still not get a good job because you're not a compassionate person, because people cannot see kindness around you. And when people cannot perceive kindness around you, they avoid you. And then you think, I am the best, but I don't have the best of opportunity. And you will see a second, a third best, someone behind you who is probably a little more humble and has some solid ethical value, and the people will love them. Some of us are so good in what we do, but we're too rigid in how we see life. When they tell us to do something, we are so fixated in a single way to do things. We're not flexible. We're not adaptive. Some of us, when we fall, we have not learned the art of being resilient, bouncing back even when you make mistakes. You need to learn the capacity of bouncing back when you make mistakes. You must bounce back with gratitude, with joy. So because we don't understand that there are more other things to learn in these adaptive areas, there is more to learn in this adaptive area. A lot of us study medicine and we focus on this as the MBBS and then becoming a consultant, part of the whole story. Or you become a surgeon, a neurosurgeon. But one thing you have forgotten is that it's not only about the competence or the neurosurgery that will help you to earn more in your life. Someone who did not even study more than economics can be brought to be the leader of the organization where you are the neurosurgeon. And the guy can earn times 10 of what you're earning, because the guy has not only learned the character of the environment, he has learned I learned that in the world of clinical trials, that the guys in marketing actually makes more money, that they call them the guys in commercials. They make way more money than the guys in the core clinical space. And the reason why is that they go more about the adaptive leadership system. This adaptive leadership model, where you build your capacity in character, compassion, courage, and consistency. Those are the guys that go for marketing. And what do? They only learn a little bit of your drug making, just good enough to convince a doctor or a pharmacist to get the medication. And they build character. They build some brands. That's brand on character. They have some sense of delayed gratification. They give a lot of bonuses. They are compassionate people. They organize programs. They build networks to help organizations to buy their medication. They are people of faith. They work with courage. And they do this consistently because they know that they may start from the level that looks like a simple interest, and later they gravitate into a compound interest model. So because those people have invested more in the adaptive leadership, they become greater. And so the part of my teaching today is this slide. I need you to understand that your adaptive learning approach should be your focus. I'm not saying you should lose focus on getting an excellent degree in your master's, in your PhD, or becoming the best software engineer that the world would ever have. But look, if you become the best software engineer, your earning will still be impacted if you don't learn this adaptive leadership. Look, if you focus on that software engineering, the best you will be is an employee or a consultant. But if you focus on learning this adaptive leadership, what you will be is that you'll be able to transform yourself from being an employee or a consultant, then you'll be a business owner, business system owner. That is the difference. And that is why your earning at this level will always be on salary, contract, but your earning at this system will be on profitability. So whatever you want to learn the art of compassion, learn the art of building network, learn the art of convincing people, marketing, talking to people, learn the art of servant leadership, going above and beyond to serve people. You should not just think about yourself and what will happen to you if you have to go on a trip. Be flexible about solving a problem. Problems are not only solved in the way only you framed it or sees it. It is not only about you in the organization. You must learn about the ethics, the vision, the value, how to craft vision, sound ethics. You must understand the heart of delayed gratification. You don't start something immediately and expect results instantly. So all these are the ideas. And you must understand that life will first give you some simple interest kind of scenario, iteratively, and then with time it becomes majorly incremental when you have built over time and you're compounding the results. So I want to urge you today as a transformational learner, your goal is to learn competently, which is primarily why we all go to a vocational school or training organization, why we work in a sound place to build our skills, to build our talent. A lot of you will be complaining they are not promoting me. They are not promoting me. They are promoting so person because the person is doing eye service. Now you need to balance the concept of eye service. I know it may be devoid of character, but the person may know how to build network. Maybe the person is leveraging on compassion. Maybe the person is also leveraging on courage. The person is flexible and adaptive enough. But I'm not saying you should break the rules of character because you want to be compassionate and courageous. But what I'm saying is, if you're evaluating yourself that I'm not being promoted, then you need to watch these other things. If you notice in your organization, what your leader wants is, he wants you to do something, or the organizational direction, strategic direction is this. The best thing as an adaptive leader is for you to align with those things. When you align with those things and you put yourself all out for it, trust me, you'll get more promotion. You'll get more bonuses. When you build networks around those things, you build character brand around those things. So beyond even the competence of you knowing how to do the job, if you really want to earn more in any organization, you better understand the heart of building brands, standing your ground and building solid character compassionately with courage, to be flexible, to be adaptive, and then to do these things consistently. This is the art of transformational learning. And I hope this is able to help you see the world better. So in acquiring new skills, competency is great. If you get a better academic degree, maybe a professional degree or a doctorate, you probably get higher average income. But don't forget, your mindset also matters. You must have a mindset of a growing person with positive attitude towards learning, because the mindset is actually what would help you through these 4 areas that I mentioned, the adaptive leadership. And then when you become better, you would, because what makes you an asset to any organization, to any community, is when they see your mindset. If you have a positive mindset, when they see your skill set, that's your competence level, right? And then when they see your tool set, those 3 things, if you have a better tool that can achieve the result faster, people would employ you. So always seek for a better software to do things, to make it faster, cheaper, easier. So look for the better tools, look for better skill sets, develop yourself, learn more, but ultimately have a better mindset, because it's going to save you a lot. Another view is this. Of course, the examples of transformational learning we have in our environment, we have the formal education, and you have degrees, you can do certification online. But I also love apprenticeship, which is maybe non-structured or semi-structured in a way. So if you need to throw yourself into an apprenticeship system, please do. Professional development courses and workshops, mentorship and coaching program. Valdymas Intelligence offers great mentorship and coaching programs. You can leverage all those. Traveling is also a very great way of learning. When you travel and you go to see other people's program, your mind would be blown away. You would be open to a new realm of understanding. And that's why I love to travel. And I love to travel by road if given the opportunity, if there's a road, because I love to see things. I love to assimilate those things into my mind. And when I travel, I observe. I look intently. I look at the reason why a signpost was made this way. Why is this one elevated? Why is this one made bolder, bigger? Why is this happening? I ask those questions and I take pictures so that they can remind me. I can think through them. When I see flyers, when I travel, I snap those flyers. I ask, why did this person make this color combination this way? Why is this? You must have that kind of curious mindset. And then you must be given to volunteer work and community engagement. Everything you do should not be that you want to earn money. There must be some things you do for life to your community that must be for free. And that's why sometimes you have to stretch yourself above and beyond. And it to be volunteering, pushing yourself out there. If everything you want to do all your life is just about earning money, then you're in a wrong journey, because that's a journey of deformation, not transformation. So as we are learning, and I'm trying to wrap up in a few minutes, transformational learning is the best investment into your future. A commitment to lifelong learning demonstrates that you've given yourself to a growth mindset. And please, if you ever want to empower yourself and change the quality of outcomes you would continue to get, don't forget, you must have made up your mind to continuously build your competence year on year, learning and becoming better year on year, learning and becoming better year on year. Now, transformational learning has to do with your historical perspective, your present scenario, and your future possibilities. Where you're coming from. You have to reflect on your experiences. You can't take my experience away from me. That's what makes me me. And how I've managed knowledge in time past. But what is important is that this present scenario is that I start asking the right questions. I start evolving. I start taking more responsibility and commitment to faithfulness. I start framing the world in a better way. I start engaging in strategic thinking, which is more foresighting. I start understanding things at a system perspective, where time, people, process, pricing, and all these things affect the outcomes of what I do. Culture, context, causation, and this thing affect the context. Then deep future possibilities. My future possibilities lie in the amount of deep learning and innovation I'm open to, the amount of collaboration work I'm open to, and then if I've set transformational impact as my goal. So I want to admonish us today as we're learning in competence, in character, in consistency, in being compassionate and courageous. I want you to understand this about chaos science. No matter how chaotic things may be or seem in your life and environment right now, there are underlying patterns and structures within your seemingly chaotic ecosystem. This pattern may not be visible to you right away, or maybe in a short term, but I want you to know that if you embrace the concept of transformational learning and long-term thinking, that is, learning both competently, but more importantly, adaptively, by learning to build yourself in character value. Always ask yourself, this decision I want to take, what merit is it? Of what merit is it? I applied for a certification program a few weeks ago. I actually wanted to snipe the story and bring it here. And lo and behold, after the whole negotiation, I was told that I wouldn't need to actually write the exam with my mind. I would only need to sit before the computer, and then someone else would do the exam for me. And I told the system, I am never going to do that. The goal of the learning is for me to expose myself to a training and then sit for the exam. I want to go through that process and then get the certificate, because just like Ivan Fernandez, of what merit would that certificate be for me? Of what merit would it be for me? My mind must be able to think critically. I must change the quality of the person I am in the process of learning. So my goal is not just about getting a certificate. My goal is about getting it. I have once had to drop out of a program many years ago in a country because of the merit of that credential. When I looked at the quality of the training program and the quality of the teachers that were going to teach me, I told myself, I will never be proud of this certificate. Because the goal for me is not just about getting the paper. The goal for me is about becoming a better person. So what I'm saying is, I know some of us may live in countries where things are so chaotic right now. And you are thinking, all these things you've said, I'm not even able to get myself by. I need you to know that in your chaotic ecosystem, if you sit down and meditate clearly enough, there are some underlying patterns and structure in the things you're doing that is happening to you. If you embrace transformational learning and long-term thinking, you will, in a matter of time, be able to connect those patterns together, and you will be able to get yourself out of the chaos. That is the merit of chaos ecosystem. That's the advantage of transformational learning. And I hope you would understand with me and go with me. I want to thank you so much for your time to listen. And at this point, I'm open to any question, please. If we have any question, I would appreciate if you can ask. Thank you so much for listening in. Do we have anyone with a question, please? It's question time.
Uh, Good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you so much. Good afternoon.
Okay. So my question is, earlier you talked about exactly just the videos we've been watching recently, the 10x thinking.
Okay.
So my question is it bad to actually take things step by step, gradually? You understand? Because I believe patience is actually very important. I'm not saying moving from 2x to 10x is a bad thing, but um, I really want to understand if actually trying to do things gradually from, like, let's say 1x to 2x, maybe to 4x, or slowly like that, it's actually not really a good thing, or something like that.
Excellent question. Thank you for raising that. Thank you for raising that point. So I would start with this story. I listened to a video in 1960. I think the video was recorded in the 1960s, right? And what surprised me in that video was that the guy was saying a story that the price of maybe fuel increased from a certain amount to another amount that is increased significantly, right? Are we together? Um, if you backtrack the story to 2015 too, I can tell you almost across the world, because of Russia, Ukraine war, and several other things that happened, the price of oil also jumped significantly across the world. Now that's maybe petroleum price. I can also go to the price of building motor vehicles. I can also go to the price of aviation travel. I can go to the price of doing certification courses in schools. I can keep going like that. If you look at the world system is also gradually becoming very expensive. Now, if you take things step by step, what you're saying is that you want to generate a kind of result that the price, how the world is changing, would actually be able to neutralize that improvement. So let's say in 1960, I was earning 10,000 naira. And now in 2020, this thing, I've moved gradually with patience, right? And in 2024, I am now earning 1,000,000 naira, because that is what a gradual growth would have been if I do not make up my mind to become transformational in my thinking. Now, what would happen is that the value of 10,000 naira in 1960 is actually more valuable than 1,000,000 naira in 2024. So, is my life actually advancing? Like you said, patience. Am I actually improving, or am I actually retrogressing? Because in direct amount of absolute value, you would think I'm actually advancing, at least from 10,000 to 1,000,000. But what 10,000 could have done many years ago, probably would have bought a brand new vehicle. But if you look at 1,000,000 naira now, could not even buy a used vehicle. So the challenge is that some people will want to use a single lifetime. In their single lifetime, they want to take things gently and say, okay, I'll just keep advancing gradually from one class, from one layer to another. Are we together? And ultimately, what they will achieve is just a single lifetime result. But you will see some people, they are born in the same community, the same environment. They will commit themselves to transformational results. And what you will see in their life is that what this person achieved in these 50, 60 years of their life, or 50 to 70 years of their life, they are able to discipline themselves more at this point. That's what I'm saying. Transformation will require you to be more disciplined at a point. You may have to wait for more time at this point, when this other person may even have jumped like 2 or 3 steps ahead of you. You may still be at this level, waiting, developing yourself, building your character. Because it's not easy to build character. It's not easy to build a brand. It's not easy to expend money. And what will happen to you is that by the time your own transformation comes, your first leap may actually take you from here to this point. That is one lifetime. If you get here again and become more disciplined again and invest more in your learning, in building team, in building connection, you will take a while again and leap to this point. And by the time you're leaping to this point, maybe you're just spending 20 years. Now, this other person wants to be taking things slowly. The common example is, and maybe I should help you break it down clearly. When I was earning a salary of 189,000 naira as an house officer at FMC, I was saving 150,000 naira. I was investing it. I was only living on 39,000. If you're going to make some transformational outcome, you will discipline yourself to the point that it will be a massive discipline. This set of investment helped me to be able to acquire some things, also helped me when I had the opportunity to be able to pay for an international program, because I was used to savings and removing some money, which is massive from whatever income I have reduced the quality of those things. By the time I was going to leap from the job I leaped to like ×3 of what I was earning instantly. It took a while. It took a period of like 2-3 years for me to take the first leap, but I did. But I was not only investing in trainings that were local, I was investing in international trainings. I was not only buying assets in small areas, I was buying big assets. So what I am saying is you can choose to say, okay, if I earn 189,000, I will just be saving 15,000 naira. After all, patience is a virtue. I will just be doing it gradually. You can also choose to say, look, I don't have to live in this big house now. I can punish myself now, remain more disciplined, reduce the quality of life. In fact, I've once advised someone, you don't need to stay closer to your workplace. If you have to wake up and jog for 45 minutes to catch up to another bus stop where you'll be able to reduce your transport fare and then be able to build something out of your life, the money you're able to save from it, use it to train yourself. And when you train yourself in that skill, become a better person, volunteer for people, go above and beyond for people. When you integrate this together, you will be able to transform yourself. I have also, when I got into the United States, I went to volunteer for an organization. For more than 2 years, up till post-COVID, I was volunteering for free. I was using my medical knowledge to volunteer to help them package surgical equipment together. And he handed me a recommendation letter that changed the way I think. He handed me a book as a gift that changed the way I think. He handed me a lot of, so transformation is not only about money, it will also reflect in the quality of learning. It will reflect in the quality of relationship you would have. If I walk into the organization today, everybody will be greeting me, welcome. They loved me there. If I need to do something, I can leverage their relationship to get something done. That is the essence of the integral growth I am talking about. So you need to find a way. And that's why I said the best time to start the transformational journey is many years ago. But at any point where you find yourself, then you need to start. Let me give you another example. I was working for an organization a couple of years ago, and every other person was using a kind of machine. Because I also talk about tool that you're using. You must find a way to get a better tool. I had to expend more money as I then to go and buy a MacBook. When the three of us are uploading up onto the portal, I could be uploading the 5th facility when the closest person to me will be uploading the 2nd facility. That is the quality of speed the tool I have gave to me, way above others. So what I am saying is, if you really are interested in transformation, you will force yourself down some discipline path that would help you to jump. So I'm not saying you won't be patient. Patience will still happen at this point. If you can see my screen, patience will still happen at this point. But ultimately, the idea will be that you will be able to grow yourself at this point, that you're leaping just like an electron revolving around an orbital here, and it needs to jump to the next orbital that is here. The electron would have built a lot of energy, photovoltaic energy, that By the time he receives a little nudge at this point, he's going to leap and make it to the next one. By the time they leap, the salary you may be earning may be way more than someone who has gone 50 years ahead of you. And that is why studying an excellent course, putting yourself in some strategic training school, I won't deceive you, going to Johns Hopkins was way more expensive. It was times 10 of doing my master's in another school. But I can tell you, any table in the world that I sit today on any panel, people will look up to me to talk. They will want to listen to my perspective. They are not only listening to Joshua, they are listening to Johns Hopkins. Because they know for you to go through a school of that magnitude, you will need to have some new level of analysis and reasoning. I now have a different network. If I need to do anything globally today, I know the people I will email at once, and they will respond to me in Philippines, in Pakistan, in the United States, in the United Kingdom. If I land in the United Kingdom today, there are people I can reach out to that I probably will never have had opportunity to reach out to them. That is why stretching yourself to go to business school Netherlands, Lagos Business School, they are not a bad investment. But you will need to save money to go to those things. You will need to push yourself harder. So if you have a training system, if you need to travel to Accra for a conference, don't say the money is too much. That investment comes with a lot of discipline. If you need to borrow, borrow. Because by the time you integrate that learning and you're a person of character, a person of competence, you're a compassionate person, people know you to be humble, to be adaptive, to be flexible, to do things in a consistent way. People will support you on this journey. And what you will start noticing in your life are quantum leaps. Someone just told me about a training program here in the United States. He was surprised a week later when I told him I had registered. He said, were you thinking about it before? I said, well, I probably wasn't actively thinking about it before. But I know that the journey to transformation rests on paying heavily for training and sitting down to take on the training. Before the first day of the training, I had exposed myself to over 16 hours of a video about that training before the training started. If you really want to jump in your journey in life, you would invest more in training yourself, and it will take a whole lot of your money. It will send you to some hunger strikes. You would have to push yourself harder. You would have to borrow. But when people see genuine passion, and you're also a humble person, and you can, because all these things is not just unidirectional, that people help you because you're competent. People help you because they like you, because their mind loves you. Trust me, if someone loves you, they can bring out 1 million naira to support your dream. So a lot of times, some money you think you're struggling for, you thought you need to work to get them. But people can actually pay for a training on your behalf when they see you to be compassionate enough, when they see you that you are passionate enough, when they see you that you believe in this ideal and you want to achieve it. People will go out of their way to support you. The reason why some people are really not looking at you or not trading off something for you is because you have possibly not demonstrated enough character. You have not and that's why I said this learning is not only about competence. You need to now understand the character, the compassionate, the adaptive side to things. There are still some leaders today that if they call me, in fact, I think Muiwa and Tim knows about some people. If Dr. Eniba calls me as we speak this moment, I'm possibly going to pick his call. I can afford to volunteer to do things for free for him. Because I've decided to keep that network. I have so many other leaders across different areas like that, that if I need an idea about finance, I know who to talk to. If I need an idea about pharmacovigilance and clinical research, I know who to talk to. If I need idea, and I keep them, and those are relationships I guard jealously. If they send me a text now to help them do something, I will leave everything I'm doing and I will jump at doing it. I won't even think about how much they are going to pay me. I have never thought about how much they are going to pay me. So it is the integration of all this together that will help your competence. So they know I have competence in an area. But because I have demonstrated character, compassion, and courage to take on even their own burden, to support them do things, then automatically they will be willing to help me on some days. So the journey of transformation is not only about building competence and becoming excellent at that competent area. It also boils down to this, your adaptive area. That is what will help you ultimately. I hope I'm able to tell you the difference between the two.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you for that question. It's a great question and a brilliant one at that. And I also have some videos on change and transformation on my YouTube page. Please, if you could check them out, it probably would also explain it better. Do we have any other question? All right, I want to appreciate every one of you that made time out to join this call. I appreciate this. This is a very great gesture, and I can see some other names I probably don't know. I would love to reach out to you guys. I know someone would take attendance, but please, I told someone to help me take attendance, but please, if you don't mind, if you want us to reach out to you from Valdymas Intelligence, please, if you kindly drop your phone number in the chat. Toyin would like to get those numbers, and then we'll reach out to you. We would love to even give you some giveaways for joining this call. So please, I would like you to also invite friends, family for subsequent month calls in a month's time. That's every first Saturday of the month. Would like to take a class like this and discuss intensively about transformational leadership. That's my passion. That's my goal. That's my own message to the world. And I'm willing to go above and beyond to make that happen. So please, if you could share your phone number, we want to build a community with you. We want to share some giveaways with you. We want you to continue to join us. And then we know that we're on a transformative journey. And before you know it, you'll see that the quality of your result will not just be a general increase from maybe like a 50 to a 60, a 60 to a 70. It will be something that will be doubling, something that will be multiplying. And that's the kind of effect you want in the outcomes of your life. People will just look at you and say, and I have a project for you. I think you should be able to do it. Okay, come see me. And then you get a project. And you still hold on to other jobs you're doing and you're able to do them effectively. Before you know it, that quality of learning would keep expanding your mind. So please don't be a lazy learner. Do not be a lazy learner. Don't just learn or go through things because you just have to go through it. Put your mind in it. Make meaningful connection about it. Be very good at it. But more importantly, build character. Make sure you ask yourself, what's the merit of the decision I'm taking? Am I just collecting this money because money is being given to me? Or I'm building a network, I'm building strength, or I'm building character? What would I tell my mother? What would be the value of this? Because values are transmitted from generation to generation. So I don't want us to be someone who will compromise in character and you expect competence to cover up for you. It doesn't work that way. You need to build that character, build everything together, and then let it work with competence, and then it will transform you. And by the time it's transforming you, it becomes better. It becomes magnificent. You will see siblings born in the same generation, and you see one of them dart away, and you see the others moving gently. You don't want to be like that. You want to be able to leap completely and jump from one level to another. And please don't get me wrong. It doesn't come like it's not a magic. It takes time. Transformation takes time. You would still build a lot of transformative patience, but you need to remain patient at a lower level, just like a spring, so that you can jump up and leap to the next level. So transformation might have to pull you back a bit. When it looks like others are already advancing beyond you, you may have to stay back a bit to build more strength and competence, so that by the time you are released like a catapult releasing a stone, you go to a farther level than others that seem to have gone ahead of you. But you would invest heavily in yourself. It will come with some price, with some pain. I can promise you that. But the joy and the thing I can promise you in the future is that by the time you get to the next level, you can relax at the next level and still grow incrementally a little bit, and then pull up back yourself again, and then push forward again, and then multiply. And that's how the journey keeps going. So something like you move from a level like this, you keep moving here, you build your capacity, you jump to this level, you build capacity over a time, you jump again, you build it over a time, you go, it looks like you're going back, you jump again. That is the journey of transformation. Unlike you just want to grow gradually, and ultimately after a lifetime, you're not able to grow beyond one leap. and you see a single person having like 10 lives in a lifetime. That is the quality of life you want to live. May West says you have one chance to this life. We all know we do have one chance. But if you do that one chance very well, once is enough. Thank you so much. So I hope we have the details of those who joined, and I will appreciate if we can get them in the chat, or if you know someone, please, you can reach out directly to those person. I would like to give out a copy of my book to those who joined from that I don't know their name, and please, I would like to also reach out to them one-on-one, please. Thank you so much. Please, let's have your phone number, your details. If you know anyone on this chat and you're joining, please. Thank you so much. God bless you. Bye.